Welcome to the Packet Tracer Troubleshooting Lab, Small Star LAN PC3 Isolated. This lab applies directly to your Cisco CCST Networking 100-150 and Cisco CCNA 200-301 certification prep. In the previous lab, we built the Small Star LAN from scratch, but this time, things aren't quite the same. Something has gone wrong along the way. The network topology itself hasn't changed. It's still the same small star LAN we built before, with SW1 at the center, and PC1, PC2, PC3, and printer 1 connected. The IP addressing plan also remains the same. PC1 at 192.168.1.10, PC2 at 192.168.1.20, PC3 at 192.168.1.30, and printer 1 at 192.168.1.40, all in the /24 subnet. But here's the problem. PC3 is isolated. It can't reach PC1, PC2, or the printer, while PC1 and PC2 can still reach each other and printer 1. Let's begin our troubleshooting with phase 1, checking layer 1, cables, link lights, and NIC status. First, under phase 1, layer 1, cables, link, NIC, and duplex mismatch, we're going to check the link lights on both ends. PC3 NIC LED should be on, and it is. Switch 1 on fast Ethernet 03 port LED should be on, and it is. If it's off, in the real world, you would reseat or reconnect the cables or replace the copper straight-through cable altogether. If you're still having issues after this, we go to step 2. Ensure PC3 NIC is enabled. And we do this by clicking on PC3, click on desktop if it's not already selected for you, click on IP configuration, and make sure that the NIC is on. It shows fast Ethernet, which is the only option in this case. We'll go ahead and close this. If for some reason you find that the NIC was turned off on the actual PC itself, you will enable it and then retest the ping on all devices, PC1, PC2, and printer 1. If you still can't connect from PC3 to PC1, PC2, and the printer, we go to the next step. You want to verify switch 1 fast Ethernet 03 isn't shut down. So to take a look at this, we'll go to switch 1. We'll click on it. And it should automatically take you to the command line interface. If it doesn't, just click on the tab. Here it says press return to get started. So we click on it, hit the enter key, and it takes you to this prompt. This prompt, remember, is called user exec mode. You want to be in the privilege exec mode. And how do we do that? We type in enable and hit enter. And as you can see, the prompt changed from a greater than sign to a hash pound sign, number sign. At this prompt, you're going to type in the command show interfaces status. Now you can copy from the document and paste it. and then hit enter. You can resize the window so you can have a better view of what's going on. You see that it says more here. So you want to do is hit the space bar until you reach the end and you see the prompt again. Now this was a long list, so you just make it bigger until you can see all the interfaces. Now we're looking for a fast Ethernet 3, which is right here. If you go across, it shows connected. If this was showing disabled, you would have to go through these steps right here. You would have to configure the switch port with the no shutdown command. But since it's connected, we don't have to go through this. All right, so now we go to the next step. Look for errors, duplex issues in the fast Ethernet 03 and switch 1. And how do we do that? We go and execute the show interface fast Ethernet 03 command. Since we are already in the terminal, there's some steps here that you can skip. But if you closed out this window, just go back in there, following the steps, copy the command from this document, and paste it in here. Or you can type it in, and then press enter. Again, if you see more, just hit the space bar until you reach the prompt, which indicates that's all the information you're going to receive. Now you're looking for 3 items. You're looking for input errors, which could indicate bad cabling, duplex mismatch, or interference. And you find input errors right here. Right now it's showing 0, which is a good thing. The next thing you look for is CRC. This indicates cabling issue, EMI, or duplex mismatch. And this is where CRC is located. Again, it's showing 0, and that's a good thing. The third item you want to check is late collision. If you have any number above 0 for late collision, you definitely have a duplex mismatch. And that is located right here. It's showing 0. That's a good thing. Here's a practical threshold chart that you can have handy with you at all times. 0 is healthy. 1 to 10 occasionally can happen, especially on a busy link, but should not grow consistently. Now, if the counter is growing, in other words, it increments every time you execute the show interface command, that is an active problem. And large numbers, like in the hundreds or thousands, clear sign of trouble. Duplex mismatch, bad cable, failing hardware. Well, so far everything looks good. So now we're going to move up the layer to layer 2 on switch 1 VLAN and port. What we're going to do here is check the VLAN membership. Make sure that the PC3 is in the same VLAN as PC1, PC2, and the printer. And how do you do this? You would enter the command show VLAN brief. And copy it, paste it. And these are all the VLANs on this switch. As you can see, VLAN 1 is the default. The status shows active, and all the ports are in VLAN 1. So that means that PC3, which is connected to Fast Ethernet 03, is in the same VLAN as PC1, PC2, and printer 1, excuse me. All right, so that passed the test. If you've noticed that Fast Ethernet 3 was in a separate VLAN, for example, VLAN 20, you will see VLAN 20 here with the corresponding Ethernet port attached to it. You will follow these steps here to change it back to VLAN 1. So far, again, everything looks good. Now, I'm going to check layer 3 on PC3, IP and mask. So now we're moving out of the switch. I'm going to close it out. Go to PC3. And now what we're going to do is go to IP configuration. In the IP configuration, you want to verify the interface drop-down box shows Fast Ethernet 0, which we did earlier. This is the only drop-down that you see. Under IP configuration, you want to verify that the static radio button is selected, and it is. And then you want to check the IP address box. Remember, this is PC3. PC3 should have the IP address of 192.168.1.30/24. 24 meaning 255.255.255.0. Let's take a look. IP version 4 address 192.168.11.30. There's the issue. You have an extra one. So you just delete it. And now it's 192.168.1.30. The subnet mask, like we said, is supposed to be 255.255.255.0. That is the equivalent of /24. Now that we corrected the issue, let's do a ping. We'll close this out. Go to the command prompt. And again, since this was from the previous lab, we'll go down here. And we're going to start pinging. We're going to ping 192.168.1.1. That's PC1. I'm sorry. Not that one. We got to wait for it to finish. There you go. We can use the up arrow to bring up the last command we just typed, and that should be a .10 for PC1. And as you can see, we're getting the replies. That's good. Now, up arrow, change the last number to 20. That's going to be PC2. We're getting replies. Success. Up arrow, change the last number to 40 because that's for printer 1. Again, we're getting replies. So we have successfully changed the IP address to the correct one, and we're able to communicate now to PC1, PC2, and the printer. So over here is a quick decision guide for the symptoms pattern. Port NIC down, phase 1, or duplex mismatch on Fast Ethernet 03, phase 1, or wrong VLAN on Fast Ethernet 3, phase 2, or wrong IP mask on PC3, which in this case, that's what the issue was. It had an extra one in the third octet. And that completes this lab. If you have any questions, feel free to leave questions and comments in the Q&A tab. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.